Okay, so I think we've got 3 more questions before we go on to questions for me about what it's like to work with you. Which I think this is a really interesting one from Dark Faith.
Dark Faith, more darkness. Great, cool. Hi, Dark Faith.
Good. We've got a fan base, and we really love them.
Good, I love
it. Did we imagine that Seawall would have a huge female fan base? Did you imagine that?
No.
It's because you're such a handsome bastard, man.
No, it isn't.
I'll tell you what, I think it is. I think it is, actually. But I think it's more than just that. I think there's something about Alex.
I think it's to do with. Well, it's to do with you, actually. It's to do with the fact that...
It's because I'm such a handsome...
It's because you're such a handsome bastard. No, but it's also to do with which, it just seeps from you, is how much you love your wife and your kids. And I suppose maybe if there's a female following for it, it's because I suppose people go, I remember people saying that. I want to be loved like that, and the stuff about, seeing, how, the intricacies of married life and the dishwasher and the blue dress and Lucy and all that kind of stuff. I think that is it's wonderful to have plays that are about that. About. So maybe that's what it's about.
And I think this is what the whole thing has been, actually, hasn't it? It's been the synthesis of our collective imaginations.
Yeah.
That's what it is. This is maybe my favourite question from Luna Claw. It's a really great question. It's my favourite question of all questions. If you could go anywhere in time and space, where would you go?
I know that's so left field.
That's great.
God, anywhere in time or space. Can you answer that?
I would go to... It'd be great to be able to watch the Earth being formed.
God, yeah.
To watch we'd need to watch the very early formation of the planet as the kind of rock, the gravitational force of the rocks started to solidify in its orbit around the sun. That would be good. I'd also like to meet Eric Cantona.
Maybe bring him to the formation of the Earth.
That would be great.
Are we allowed to bring a friend? Because actually, if you're at the formation of the Earth, are you on your own? Are you invented?
Yeah, that would be lonely, wouldn't it? It'd be really lonely.
Not if you had Eric Cantona. You must have met Eric Cantona.
No, I've never met Eric Cantona.
He's
an actor now, I know.
Do you not hear his voice when you're writing?
I can't. The terrible agony with Eric Cantona, of course, because he's a very good actor, apparently.
Yeah.
I've seen him act in film a couple of times. He's just playing Ubu on stage, which is a character I've kind of written about. But he won't talk about football. Rightly, because
Yeah.
I refuse to talk about my career stacking shelves at Gateways as well. That was another part.
Is Gateways a supermarket? I worked at a supermarket.
Did you? Which one?
It was called Quinsworth, which is now in Ireland, which is now Tesco.
Yeah, everything's Tesco. Gateways is gone now. Yeah, it's all,
I used to hate it so much.
Yeah. How old are you?
17.
Yeah, me too.
Were you?
Yeah, I was 17.
The thing I hated the most was when people used to say, "Hello, can you tell me where the Cocoa Pops are?" And you couldn't just go.
You have to take them.
You have to go. Yeah. And they hate it as well. They're like, we know. Yeah. And you had to sort of, pose beside it. Anyway.
I used to quite like the customers. It was the managers I didn't like.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I write about it all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, there's quite a few references to that time.
Yeah, because it's hell.
Yeah, it's really hell.
And all that stuff about moving all the orange marmalade without peel.
And facing up.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, I kind of draw metaphors from that in my work now. It's really, because there's part of me that thinks, now my work is more enjoyable. Nevertheless, I think metaphorically, it's important to do the facing up.
Yeah.
You're writing a script, you've got to get it right. It's got to be good. Yeah. You have to apply the same kind of dedication and application to the delivery of your work as a writer as you do when you're trying to face up the aisle at the end of a night. It's something I feel very strongly about, actually, because there's so much romantic mythology surrounding the writer's life.
Yeah.
that it's possible to really underestimate the importance of just doing a good job. Do your job.
Do your job.
Get in,
Yeah.
do your job. And it's your
Yeah.
job. It's not your soul. It's not coming from the ether. It's not some kind of magical spiritual thing. It's doing your work.
Yeah.
You just got to do it.
And it's sort of it's for other people.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
is what facing up is. It doesn't-
Exactly.
I mean, of course you can. This is for somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
How are you at giving your play away? Like in, you know,
Go on.
you know, like with directors and actors, and or do you become better at that than, you know?
I've always really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've always really enjoyed it. Because it's interesting. I think different theatre workers have different moments of fear.
Yeah.
I think often actors find it frightening the first time an audience comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or a press night.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Directors, I only found out recently, are often terrified on the first day of rehearsal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's the first time they have to stand in front of a company.
Yeah, and everybody's looking at them going,
Everybody's
come on, yeah.
I think I find that moment between delivery and response still 12 years, 20 plays in, paralysing with fear.
Yeah.
It's awful when you give your play to somebody and say, all right, I've done, what do you think? That's just hell. So meeting you at the reading of...
Yeah,
it was not at all out of the question that you could have, because you're a very generous and gracious man, I'm sure you would have found a generous and gracious way of doing it. But it's not at all out of the question you hated that. And that you could have gone, you know, Simon, thank you, but I'm not really going to do this piece of shit. That never stops being horrible.
Yeah.
But having said, once I've got over that, you know...
So what about, like, do you write then... So have you written many things where I'm talking about open commissions or just commissions on a theme, or do you ever work on that with that in mind?
I tend to... different theatres commission in different ways.
Yeah.
There's part of me that always enjoys the restriction. Like with Seawall,
Yeah.
I enjoyed the restriction of the fact that it was going to be in a broken space.
Yeah.
Sometimes I quite enjoy if somebody says, well, you've got, you know, I'm writing a play at the moment, which, although this isn't a formal part of the commission, it's for a theatre culture which is tremendously expensive, and subsequently, this culture very rarely produces plays where there's more than 2 or 3 actors. So actually it's a commission for a New York theatre. And there's a reason why American plays, if you think of the great American plays of the last 30 years, they tend to be 2 or 3 actors because they've not got enough money.
Yeah.
So there's part of me that's quite enjoying the challenge of writing a play only for 2 actors.
Yeah.
I've never done it before.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be my 21st play, and I've never written a 2-hander. So it's quite enjoyable to do that. I quite like that kind of restriction.
Yeah. Rather than going, right,
write whatever you want. Yeah, if somebody said to me, write whatever you want, I wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah.
And so then the process becomes quite a lengthy period of setting my own restrictions. So I tend to write an open commission. The Royal Exchange Theatre in Manchester is a theatre I've written 4 plays for, and they tend to be quite open commissions.
Mm.
And so part of the work with those commissions is establishing my own restrictions.
Yeah.
Because I think restriction is freeing
Yeah.
for me as a writer.
Yeah.
I
It's
find
like good direction
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
and stage directions. And like grammar, I find, you know, like your grammar, the way you write and comma and thing,
Yeah.
and pause, and the difference between a pause and a silence, I think, you know, to be sort of like a good wedding, to be sort of gently guided around, you know?
That's nice.
You know what I mean? Rather to be sort of left.
That's
sort of
nice.
Get
Yeah,
pissed
yeah,
at 11
yeah.
o'clock in the morning. You know? I was at a wedding recently where they just let you, you know, it's like a free-for-all. It's like, what do we do? What do we, you know? You want to be sort of slightly,
to be ushered
just
slightly
somebody putting
into,
a
okay, we're going to do the
calm-
speeches now.
You
and
want to
then
be
we
sort
get-
of, like,
exactly.
you know, a
Exactly.
little bit like that.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, you want to
That's
just sort
kind
of
of,
be told.
I kind of think that's my job, and I talked about about rorting over writing when we last did this thing.
Yeah.
And the work of the rorter, of the playwright, which is, you know, the verb from which the noun write comes,
Yeah.
is the shaper or the maker. You know, my job is the shaping of material.
Yeah.
And so there is, I like the analogy that my job is kind of like an usher at a wedding.
Yeah.
To go, all right, now come and take your
Yeah.
place. We're gonna have dinner. and then we're going to have the speeches, and then we're going to do dancing, and then there's going to be karaoke.
And then then you can go, That's really nice.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy.
You want that.
Yeah.
You want, you sort of...
And I kind of like that from, I don't know if it's like that when I get a commission. It tends to be, it's kind of more arbitrary than that. It's kind of like, it'd be like, all right, so you can do whatever you want, but you've only got 14 people to do it. You know, the wedding party, there's only going to be 14 people, so those kind of limitations I find really exciting, which is why I think, you know, you've got one actor, you've got half an hour, you've got no lighting, and then you get an email, it's like, the actor's Andrew Scott. Then it's very easy to write.
Then you can,